Hello students, you are watching the IIT series of biology and I am Rikisha Bhaumik, PGT Biology at Kendriya Vidyalaya Sector 2 RK Puram, helping you in understanding some of the concepts of biology. In our last session, we started with the chapter Microbes in Human Welfare. In continuation with that, in this session, we will look into other topics or other fields where microbes find usefulness in our lives. Before proceeding further, let us first recapitulate what we have studied in our last lesson. In our previous lesson of this chapter, Microbes in Human Welfare, we discussed the following aspects. Certain characteristics of microbes. I told you that the macroscopic life forms like plants and animals, they are very obvious to us. But there are certain minute organisms as well, which are collectively known as microorganisms or microbes, and the study of microbes is known as microbiology. About the characteristics, we learnt that microbes have a very simple cellular organization and they are diverse. They can be in bacteria, viruses, protozoa, they can be viroids or prions. These microbes are cosmopolitan, they are present almost everywhere in air, in soil, land, in water, inside our body and inside the body of plants and animals. We have heard a lot about those microbes which are pathogenic, but most of the microorganisms can be actually helpful to us. Secondly, we started learning about the usefulness of microbes in various fields. We started with the household products. Microbes are used in our everyday household products like curd, fermented dough preparations, fermented food. For example, the fermented dough is prepared for forming dosa, idli, bhaturas and other items. Fermented sap of palm is used as a traditional drink which is known as toddy or tadi in different parts of India. Then we know about cheese which is being used for various purposes, and cheese can also be prepared. The different kind of cheese having different texture and flavor can be prepared by the process of fermentation using different organisms. For example, Swiss cheese is prepared by Propionibacterium shermani, which releases large amount of carbon dioxide gas. Similarly, Roquefort cheese is produced by ripening it with a fungi, which gives it a characteristic texture and flavor. Then we have learnt about the application of microbes in industries. In industries, we produce items or products on a commercial level on a large scale, and hence we use fermenters there, and the organisms are used to produce the products, or their processes are used for producing products on a large scale. So, we have learnt about how fermented beverages are produced. Fermented beverages include those which are distilled and those which are produced without distillation. We have learnt how antibiotics which are produced by certain microorganisms and help in killing or retarding the growth of other microbes are successfully used on a large scale, and this can be used for treating deadly diseases or those diseases which were fatal in earlier times. Then we know that microorganisms produce certain chemicals, they may be acids, enzymes or bioactive molecules. Again, these are being produced on a large scale because they find wide application in different industries. In organic acid, we know acetic acid, lactic acid, citric acid, these acids can be obtained from microorganism. Similarly, lipases, proteases, pectinases, and bioactive molecules like cyclosporin A, which is used as an immunosuppressive agent, and biostatins, which are produced by a yeast Monascus purpureus. These all molecules or products are obtained by microbes, and they are highly useful in different fields of our life. Then we also discussed about the role of microbes in sewage treatment. This is the environmental cleaning aspect of microbes, and when microbes or other organisms are used for cleaning the pollution, it is also referred to as bioremediation. So, microbes find use in bioremediation. In that we have learnt about the sewage treatment, which involves two stages: primary treatment and secondary treatment. The secondary treatment is the one which involves biological treatment or the microbes. We saw how the microorganisms are helping. Microorganisms are already present, the heterotrophic bacteria, they are already present in the sewage. In the secondary treatment, they are further facilitated, so they grow vigorously and get converted into flocks, which will digest the organic matter present in the sewage and reduce BOD. BOD is biochemical oxygen demand. More is the BOD, more will be the pollution. So, by reducing the BOD content in the water, the microbes help in reducing its pollution. And these are the applications which we studied in our last session. In continuation with that, we will further look into the topics which are remaining. This concept map, use of microbes, and in this chapter we will be covering different fields. Up till now we have covered the household products, industrial products and environmental cleaning aspect, and today we will be discussing about energy production, how microbes can be useful in energy production and in agriculture. We know that agriculture is the mainstay of our economy, and in agriculture how we can improve our agriculture using these minute organisms will be the topic of our discussion today. So, let us start with the energy production. Microbes in production of biogas. You must be aware that biogas is a cleaner fuel, it is a renewable source of energy, and biogas is can be easily produced in rural areas where there is a lot of raw material available for it. Biogas can be effectively used in cooking purposes and in lighting purposes. So, we know that microbes, they have metabolic processes, and these metabolic processes results in production of certain gases as end product during their growth. The type of gas depends on the microbes and the organic substrate they utilize. For instance, we read about fermentation. In fermentation, which is done by yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, it produces carbon dioxide when the glucose is fermented. It is a type of anaerobic respiration which is occurring in the cytoplasm of the yeast. Then there are certain bacteria, as we have seen in the secondary sewage treatment, that apart from the aerobic bacteria, there are some anaerobic bacteria as well present, which is used in anaerobic digestion of the activated sludge. So, these bacteria which grow anaerobically on the cellulosic material, they produce large amount of methane along with carbon dioxide, hydrogen, hydrogen sulfide, and this mixture of gases which is obtained after anaerobic respiration of the bacteria is known as biogas. The bacteria which are responsible for the production of these gases are collectively known as methanogens. If you recall, you have read about methanogens in archaeobacteria. Again, I would like to mention here that these microorganisms, specifically in the domain archaeobacteria, they show amazing adaptability and they can survive under extreme conditions. You can find them in highly saline water, in highly acidic soil environment, in snow, in glaciers, in volcanoes. You can find them everywhere because they are adaptable and they have this capacity to survive under extreme condition. I would also like to tell you that these microorganisms are the oldest one. As you have read in evolution that the prokaryotes were the first to evolve, first to originate on earth, and the microorganisms were among those prokaryotes to first emerge on the earth. So, we can also say that microorganisms are useful for us and we cannot survive without them, but the contrary is not true. Microorganisms can very well survive without us as they were surviving in the earlier times. So, these methanogens, they are present in the the methanogens which grow anaerobically are helping in the production of biogas, and the example of methanogens are Methanobacterium, Methanococcus. These bacteria are also present in the rumen of cattle and they help in the digestion of cellulosic material present in their food. cellulosic material, the ruminants or the cattle, which include cows, buffaloes, goats, they are dependent on grasses for their food, and grasses have high level of cellulose. If we eat them, we will not be able to digest them, but because of these bacteria which are present in the rumen of these cattle, they help in the digestion of the cellulosic material present in grass and the leaves of the trees. So, by telling you all this, I want to explain you that the microorganisms have this natural process of producing gases, and these gases can be further utilized by us as fuel or the source of energy. So, the renewable source of energy, which is biogas, is specially suitable for rural areas, because the rural areas have all those materials which are needed as raw material for the production of biogas. For example, cattle dung and the agricultural waste, manures, leaves, dry leaves, these all will be the raw material for a biogas plant. The technology of biogas production was developed in India mainly due to the efforts of Indian Agricultural Research Institute IARI and Khadi and Village Industries Commission KVIC. Biogas produced from these plants can be further used for cooking and lighting purposes. So, let us see what a biogas plant, what a typical biogas plant looks like. As you can see in this picture, the biogas plant comprises of a concrete tank which is 10 to 15 feet deep, and in this the bio waste are collected. Then there is a tank, a smaller tank, where the dung and water, they are mixed together. This liquid mixture of dung and water is known as slurry, and the slurry is then supplied to this concrete tank. Since anaerobic condition needs to be maintained, the tank is completely covered and intact, so that oxygen cannot enter into it. Then as the digestion occurs, the dung is already comprising of the methanogens which will release the biogas. There is a floating cover which is over the tank. Whenever the amount of biogas increases, the floating cover will move up and resulting into the indication that a considerable amount of biogas has been produced, which can be further released out through this outlet pipe. And the sludge which is remaining is sent to the spent slurry is sent to another outlet, and through this outlet this sludge can be used as manure. So, we see that this is a simple biogas plant where we are getting two useful products, the biogas which can be further used for various purposes. It can be sent to the houses through pipelines which can substitute the chulhas, and similarly the sludge which is used as manure, which can be again used in the agricultural farms. So, we are getting two useful products from a simple biogas plant. Biogas, like any other gas, can also be compressed in cylinders and can be used for various purposes. In India, still we are at a nascent stage, and the use of biogas is restricted only to the rural areas, but in other countries you may find an automobile or even a bus moving with the help of a biogas cylinder. So, the potential of biogas is yet to be explored in India, and we can further find out many applications of the renewable source of energy. This is a renewable source of energy because it is much cleaner than the other fuels, and it can be easily produced, it can be easily recycled. Now, we will move on to the next field, the next important field, which is the agriculture. Still, agriculture is the mainstay of our economy, and microbes has a very useful role in agriculture as well. You may have heard that earthworm is known as the friend of the farmer, but apart from earthworm, there are many microbes which are present in the soil or in the air, which can be harnessed for acting as a friend to farmer as well. In this article, you can see that there is a project to convert Kerala into fully organic state. What do you mean by organic? Here organic refers to organic farming, that the states are gradually shifting towards organic farming. Can you think why this shift in farming from conventional agricultural to organic farming? Conventional agriculture is the agricultural techniques which we have been using from the ancient times. We have been using the chemicals like fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, weedicides for immediate gains, for immediate increase in the production and getting rid of the pest. And this agriculture, although they have yielded us with a good result, but in the long term it has been observed that it damages the soil quality and the crop production is also not per our desire. So, a new substitute has been devised which is known as organic farming. So, one thing which is clear here is that organic farming does not use any kind of chemicals, to say insecticides, pesticides, weedicides or fertilizers for improving agriculture. So, what is the principle of organic farming? Let us discuss it in detail. Organic farming: the potential of microbes and the other organism to act as biocontrol and biofertilizers has led to an alternative method of farming known as organic farming. The potential of microbes, that means the microorganisms and several other organisms can act as biocontrol. Bio means living organism and control here refers to controlling the insects and pests. So, biocontrol means the use of organisms for controlling the growth of those insects, those pests which might harm our crops. And biofertilizer again refers to those living organisms which can help in increasing the nutrient quality of the soil by adding nutrients to them. So, we have now realized that microorganism and several other naturally occurring organism has this potential to act as biocontrol and biofertilizer, and this realization has led to an alternative method of farming which is known as organic farming. So, instead of the chemical pesticides and insecticides, we are using the biocontrols, and instead of the chemical fertilizers, we are using the biofertilizers in organic farming. What else do you need to remember? Again, you need to remember what are biocontrol. Biocontrol refers to the use of biological methods for controlling plant diseases and pests, and it relies on natural predation rather than introduced chemicals. Natural predation, we know that in nature the predator prey relationship exists, there is a food chain, there is a food web. So, we instead use this knowledge of ours about the interaction between the organism to control the pest and insects. Now, a key belief of an organic farmer is that biodiversity furthers health. You know what is biodiversity? Biodiversity means the presence of different life forms. So, in an organic farm you will find many kind of different organisms. So, an organic farmer believes that the larger number of biodiversity will help in increasing the health of his field. So, instead of eliminating the organisms out from his field, he believes in nurturing them and keeping the biodiversity intact of the farm. It does not believe in completely eradicating pests, but keeping them at manageable level by means of checks and balances in an ecosystem. That means that unlike in conventional agriculture, where we are using chemical pesticides and insecticides to completely eradicate the insects which are harming our crop, we are not doing so in the case of organic farming. What are we doing? We are just using the natural predator-prey relationship and other interaction, the knowledge of other interactions, and we are keeping them at controllable level, at manageable level. We are keeping checks and balances on them, and we are controlling their immense growth which might harm our crop. So, organic farming can be referred to as a holistic approach requiring a thorough understanding of the webs of interaction between myriads of organisms that comprise the flora and fauna of the field. So, organic farming is not very easy, and that is why we find the bottlenecks in adopting this technique, because organic farming requires a holistic approach. It requires a thorough understanding of all the interaction between so many different kind of organisms which are present in a field. So, organic farming is the kind of farming which does not use any kind of chemicals for enhancing the nutrient quality or for stopping the growth of insects and pests over the crop, but on the other hand it is using biocontrols and biofertilizer, it is maintaining biodiversity, it is using the knowledge of interaction between different organisms, and it is a holistic approach where a farmer is also in the nature, he is using all the mechanism which is already there in the nature for improving his crop yield. Now, one by one we will look into the biocontrol agents. Here you can see a picture of ladybird which is commonly seen in the farms. Along with the ladybirds, you must have seen the dragonflies which keep on hovering over the plants. These are actually biocontrol which are naturally present in the nature. They depend on aphids, mites and other insects for their food. So, they can eat them and they can help us rid of these insects which are harming the leaves, which are harming the plants. So, biocontrol agents can be natural predators, they can be pathogens which causes disease in the plants or disease in the, not in the plants, they cause disease in those organisms which are harming the plant. They can be parasitoids, they can be parasites on the aphids, mites and insects which are destroying the crop. So, biocontrol agents can be categorized into three groups: natural predators, pathogens and parasitoids. Ladybirds and dragonflies are the common examples which are useful in getting rid of aphids and mosquitoes. Insectivorous birds are there which can be used as biocontrols. There are certain insectivorous birds, and in organic farming the farmers are encouraged to keep a bird house with them in the farm, so that whenever these insectivorous birds they visit the farm, they can stay for a longer duration and feed on that specific insects, and this way they act as biocontrol. So, again here the concept of biodiversity comes, that the farmer is ensuring that the biodiversity of his farm is more and more. Then there are certain larvae of hoverfly species which feed entirely on aphids and mites. Again they can also be encouraged to grow in the farm, so that the aphids and mites and other insects can be killed. So, here I would like to mention that when we are using insecticides and pesticides, they are not very specific for any particular kind of insect. On the other hand, they kill all the insects and pests, irrespective of whether they are detrimental or beneficial for the growth of plant. But when we are using the biocontrol agents, these biocontrol agents are very specific and they do not indiscriminately kill all the insects present in the farm. Now, as we are learning about the use of microbes, let us discuss those microorganisms which can act as biocontrol agents. First of all, bacteria, Bacillus thuringiensis, which is commonly known as Bt. These bacteria, they have a particular kind of gene Cry1AC, Cry2AB, which help in production of proteins or toxins. These proteins or toxins can kill certain classes of insects such as lepidopterans, coleopterans and dipterans. So, these Bt bacteria, they are very specific to only these class of insect. The genes are producing a particular toxin, but this toxin is not harmful for the bacteria itself. because it is produced in an inactive form, which is protoxin. And when these insects digest them, the alkaline pH of the gut results in activation of these toxin, which will prove to be lethal for these insects. So, this is a natural mechanism in Bacillus thuringiensis, and this natural mechanism again can be used for preventing the infestation of these insects into our crops. So, these BT, Bacillus thuringiensis toxins or proteins are available in the market as dried spores in sachets, which can be mixed with water and then they can be sprayed over the plants. So, when we spray this, these class of insect, all the insects which belong to these classes, lepidopterans, caulipterons and dipterans, they will keep away from the plant and they will not infest it. And recently, not recently, but quite recently, the scientists have introduced Bt toxin gene into some plants as well, and these kind of plants in which the gene has been altered is known as genetically modified plant. So, genetically modified plants have been obtained by inserting the Bt toxin gene. The most common example is the Bt cotton. Almost all the cotton which we are growing today in India is Bt cotton. Earlier, the farmer found it very difficult to grow cotton because because these insects which fall under the class of lepidopterans were damaging them. But the scientists, they gave a solution to these farmers by producing Bt cotton. They are insect resistant itself because they are producing these genes. The genes are being expressed and they are producing those proteins or toxins which are harmful to the insect. So, we can see how the application of biology and how the knowledge of microorganisms and their processes can help us in improving our agricultural yield. Secondly, fungus. The most common example of fungus is the Trichoderma species. These are free living fungi and they are very common in the roots of some plants and are effective biocontrol agent of several plant pathogens. Viruses, again viruses also help us in very species specific narrow spectrum insecticidal application. Baculoviruses, which come under the genus nucleopolyhedroviruses, they are excellent candidate for this. They provide you with species specific, they will control only those, since we know that viruses are parasite on specific host. So, they are very species specific and they have a narrow spectrum, they will not harm any other organism apart from that which is its natural host. So, by using these technique we can follow the integrated pest management program in our fields. We can encourage the farmers to use this method so that the natural capacity of soil to replenish itself remains intact. Now, the next application of microbes in agriculture is as biofertilizers. Let us see what are those organisms, what are those microorganisms which can act as biofertilizers in our fields. Biofertilizers, to again reiterate its definition, these are the organisms that enrich the nutrient quality of the soil. We have been using the NPK fertilizer, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. These are the most important nutrients which are needed by the plants. These nutrients can be naturally enhanced by using certain microorganism, and such use of microorganism to enhance the nutrient quality of soil is known as a biofertilizer. The main sources of biofertilizers are bacteria, fungi and cyanobacteria. You have heard about rhizobium bacteria, which lives in symbiotic association with the roots of leguminous plant, and they can fix atmospheric nitrogen into organic forms usable by plants. Here you can see the root of a leguminous plant having root nodules. These root nodules are actually the site of these rhizobium bacteria, which symbiotically lives with this plant and helps in fixing atmospheric nitrogen into usable form so that the roots of the plant can absorb it. So, this is again a natural mechanism occurring in the nature, and these rhizobium bacteria and in association with the leguminous plant can be used by our farmers in manner like crop rotation to enhance the content of nitrogen in the soil. Other examples of free living nitrogen fixing bacteria, if you do not want to grow the plants, you can use these free living nitrogen fixing bacteria, Azospirillum, Azotobacter. Again, there are certain fungal filaments which are present in association with the roots of higher plants, and this symbiotic association of fungus with the roots of higher plants are known as mycorrhiza. These mycorrhiza are again very useful for the plants. They are not only helping in the absorption of phosphorus, which is a very important nutrient for the plant, but also provide resistance to root borne pathogens. The pathogens which can come and infect the roots can be resisted with the help of these mycorrhiza. Similarly, these mycorrhiza also increase the tolerance to salinity and drought, and an overall increase in plant growth and development. It can help the plant in water stress conditions, stressful condition where there is high level of salt or less amount of water present in the soil, and in this way it is increasing the overall growth of plant and development of the plant. Then there are cyanobacteria such as Anabina, Nostoc, Oscillataria. They can fix the atmospheric nitrogen and they can serve as important biofertilizer in paddy fields. Paddy fields are the most common example where there is a complaint of lack of nitrogen because they remain waterlogged for a major part. So, these cyanobacteria can be used in paddy fields to improve the nitrogen content in them. Apart from adding the nitrogen, they are also helping in adding organic matter to the soil. So, with this we have come to the end of this chapter. Today we have discussed how microbes are helpful in production of biogas and how they can help our farmers in improving agriculture without destroying the quality of soil or without polluting the soil and water and other resources. So, in today's lessons we have learnt how microbes can be used for energy production as in biogas plant, organic farming and its principles. We discussed what is organic farming, what is the belief of an organic farmer and what are its principles. We have also learnt those microbes who can act as biocontrol agents or as biofertilizers to replenish the soil and reduce our dependence on chemicals which are day by day degrading the quality of soil, water and land. Now, let us discuss those questions which I gave you in my previous session to reflect over. Number 1, critically analyze the role of microorganism in sustaining of our ecosystem. See, the microorganisms are very useful and instead they are indispensable for any ecosystem, be it a wide level of ecosystem or a smaller ecosystem such as our body. In our body even we find many microbes which act as flora. They help us, they are present on our skin, they help in removing the dead cells of the skin, they are present in our intestine helping in the digestion of food. So, these microorganisms are indispensable for us and in the ecosystem they act as decomposer. The bacteria and fungi, you have heard about them that they act as decomposer. All the dead matter could not have been decomposed if these organisms were not there. Similarly, they help in the replenishment of soil. The soil can regain its natural content of minerals by the action of microbes. They maintain the biogeochemical cycle. You have heard about nitrogen cycle, you have heard about carbon cycle, phosphorus cycle, and you have also learnt about the role of microorganism in that. You have read about different kind of nitrogen fixing bacteria, rhizobium, then you have learnt about denitrifying bacteria. At every stage there is a role of microorganism in the nitrogen cycle. and they help in bioremediation, they also help in cleaning the pollution. So, these are the various aspects of microorganism which makes it indispensable for our ecosystem. No ecosystem can survive without them. Second question, what according to you is the most distinguishing feature of microorganisms that enables them to be used for commercial production? Microorganisms have a high rate of reproductive capacity. For example, E. coli bacteria can reproduce in every 20 minutes, and this is the property which is harnessed by the industries for commercial level production of various products which can be obtained from these microorganisms. So, they have high rate of reproduction, they can reproduce at a very fast rate in a short span. They have the ability to mutate fast and adapt. That is why we are saying that these organisms are the oldest or the primitive one, and they are still surviving because of their ability to mutate and adapt. They have the ability to survive under extreme condition. For example, the methanogens or the archaeobacteria, they show a diverse habitat and they show amazing adaptability to survive under such condition under which no other life forms can possibly exist. Next question was to find out from magazines or newspapers about any latest research on beneficial aspects of microbes. If you are the one who is very regular with the science magazines, you will be knowing about the beneficial aspect of microbes and how the research is being done on these microorganisms to derive many benefits out of them. So, examples are removal of the oil spill. What is oil spill? You have heard that when ships carrying oil move through the sea, sometimes there is the spill, sometimes there is leakage in the tankers and the oil gets spilled on the water, and you know that oil floats on the water. It can be very harmful for the aquatic organisms which are living in that water, and in the removal of oil spills, these microorganisms are very helpful. These microorganisms can, especially the bacteria Pseudomonas putida, can be used for removing the oil spills. They have shown a significant reduction in the amount of oil after using microorganism. Similarly, there are certain toxic metals like arsenic, mercury present in the soil which can be converted into non-toxic forms by the use of microorganisms. Next question, can you suggest some examples in nature where microbes have proved to be beneficial? If you have followed the entire lesson completely, you would be able to give such examples which are in nature and the microbes are proving to be beneficial to us. For example, the nitrogen cycle, the nitrogen fixing bacteria are present which is helping in recycling of the nitrogen content. Similarly, the decomposition of dead and decayed matter which is done by bacteria and fungi is another helpful aspect of microorganisms. Some of the archaeobacteria extremophiles, how are they able to survive in such extreme condition? You have read about the archaeobacteria. They have a special cell wall structure which allows them to survive under extreme conditions. With this, now let us discuss the remaining textbook questions. We have already discussed question 1 to 8 from our NCERT textbook, and now the remaining questions will be discussed. Do you think microbes can also be used as source of energy? If yes, how? Yes, we have today learnt that microorganisms can be used for the production of biogas. The microbes present in the activated sludge are digested anaerobically to generate biogas, which can be used as a renewable source of energy. And some microbes have also been discovered to produce biofuels and biodiesels. Yet this aspect, biofuels, biodiesels, it is also in the nascent stages, and we have realized that microbes can be used for the production of biofuels or biodiesels. The next question is, microbes can be used to decrease the use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. Explain how this can be accomplished. Use of chemical fertilizers and pesticide. When we are talking about chemical fertilizer, we can explain about biofertilizers instead of using chemicals, and instead of using pesticide, we can refer to biocontrol. So, Bacillus thuringiensis bacteria trichoderma, the fungi, baculoviruses, the viruses can be used as biocontrol agent as we have studied, and the nitrogen fixing bacteria, cyanobacteria, mycorrhiza, they can be used as biofertilizers. The next question is that 3 water samples, namely river water, untreated sewage water and secondary effluent discharged from a sewage treatment plant, were subjected to BOD test. What is BOD? BOD is the amount of oxygen which is required to consume the organic matter present in 1 liter of water. So, these were subjected to the BOD test and BOD of these samples were found out. The samples were labeled A, B and C, but the laboratory attendant did not note which was which. The BOD values of the 3 samples A, B and C were recorded as 20 milligram per ml for A, 8 milligram per ml for B and 400 milligram per ml for C. Now, which sample of the water is most polluted? Obviously, the more is the BOD, the more polluted will be the water, and we see that the C sample is the most polluted because it requires 400 mg of oxygen to consume the organic matter present in it. So, the C1 can be the most polluted, and among these sample it cannot be river water, it cannot be secondary effluent because in secondary effluent we have treated it, it can be the untreated sewage water. So, C is the untreated sewage water which is having the highest BOD. Then the 20 mg per ml for A, relatively less amount of BOD is present, that means that A is the secondary effluent, and river water we are assuming the river water to be the cleanest one. So, the 8 milligram per ml BOD for B makes it the river water. So, this is the answer. Greater the BOD, greater is the pollution, you will remember this, and if such question come, you can relate the samples with their respective water. Sample C having 400 milligram per ml BOD is untreated sewage. Sample B which is having BOD of 8 milligram per ml is river water which is relatively cleaner, and sample A having the BOD of 20 milligram per ml is the secondary effluent which is discharged from a sewage treatment plant. So, let us move on to the next question. Find out the name of microbes from which cyclosporin A and statins are obtained. This we have dealt in our last session. Cyclosporin A is obtained from Trichoderma polysporum which is a fungus, and statins are obtained from a yeast, namely Monascus purpureus. Cyclosporin A is used as an immunosuppressive agent and statins are used for lowering the cholesterol level in the blood. Find out the role of microbes in the following and discuss single cell protein. So, single cell protein, actually this refers to the unicellular organisms which can be cultured on a large scale for the production of proteinaceous food. An example of this microbe is spirulina. It can be grown easily on materials like wastewater from potato processing plants, straw, molasses, animal manure and even sewage to produce large quantities of food which is rich in proteins, minerals, fats, carbohydrates and vitamins. This can be an alternative to the widespread poverty which is prevalent in our country. In order to fulfill the hunger requirement, the food requirement of the people, these single cell protein which can be easily grown on a large scale, they can be a very cheap substitute for nutrient rich food. We know that food rates are very high for a poor person, and if these are grown on a large scale, they can be very cheaply distributed among the people so that their nutritional needs are met. Then soil is a home to many microorganisms, and these microorganisms increase the soil fertility by replenishing them and by recycling of the nutrients and the decomposition of organic matter to humus. Next question, arrange the following in the decreasing order of their importance for the welfare of human society. So, here in this question you have been given different products which can be obtained by the use of microbes, and you have to arrange them in the decreasing order of their importance. So, what are those products? Biogas. Biogas can be used as a fuel, especially in rural areas. Citric acid is used in preservatives and other compounds. Penicillin is an antibiotic which can help in getting rid of many diseases, and curd is used in our houses as a tasty product. So, according to me, penicillin should be the most important because it has helped in decreasing the rates of deadly diseases, and they help in curing us from many diseases, the antibiotics. So, penicillin, then biogas, which is a good source of energy, can help the people in rural areas. Then the citric acid, which is used as preservative for many food items, and lastly curd, which is good food and can be easily digested. So, this can be the order of arranging them: penicillin the most important, then the biogas which can be used as fuel, citric acid used for preparation of other compounds, and curd. Next question is, how do biofertilizers enrich the fertility of soil? We know that biofertilizers, they naturally replenish the soil with the nutrients nitrogen, phosphorus and other nutrients, and they can also help in adding organic matter or manure or humus into the soil. So, now the next component of this session is evaluation aspect, where we will be taking up certain MCQ questions which come in various competitive exams and evaluate ourselves. Question number 1. The free living fungus used as a biological control against several pathogens of plants: Trichoderma, Penicillium, Frankia, Saccharomyces. So, the correct answer is A, Trichoderma. We have read in this chapter that the free living fungus Trichoderma can be effectively used as a biological control against several pathogens of plants. Next question. The excreta of cattle, commonly called gobar, is rich in Rhizobium, Methanobacterium, Pseudomonas, Bacillus. Methanobacterium. We have learnt in this chapter, in this session, that the excreta of cattle is comprising of the Methanobacterium like Methanococcus, which can be used for production of biogas. Which of the following can be the application of fermentation, tanning of leather, curing of tea, production of wine, or all of the above? All the above processes, whether it is tanning of leather, curing of tea or production of wine, involves the process of fermentation. So, the correct answer is D. Question number 4. A bioreactor is hybridoma, culture containing radioactive isotopes, culture for synthesis of new chemicals, or fermentation tank. Actually, the bioreactor are the large vessels which are used in the industries for fermentation. So, a bioreactor is fermentation tank. The correct answer is D, fermentation tank. Next question. High value of BOD shows that water is normal, water is highly polluted, water is less polluted. None of these. I suppose you will be able to answer this, that the higher the value of BOD, the more is the pollution in the water. So, the correct answer here is B, water is highly polluted. Spirulina is a fungus, edible fungus? No. Is it a biofertilizer? No. It is a biocontrol? No, we have not learnt about this in biocontrol, but yes, we have read it as a single cell protein. So, spirulina is a single cell protein. Correct answer is D. Next question. Dash serves as an important biofertilizer in paddy fields. We have learned that in paddy fields, the biofertilizer which can be used is cyanobacteria. It is the most ideal, most suitable biofertilizer which can be used in paddy fields. The microbe that is used in control of oil spills is Pseudomonas putida. The correct answer is B. Pseudomonas putida is used in the control of oil spills. Streptokinase, which is used as a clot buster for removing clots from blood vessels of patients who have undergone myocardial infarction or heart attack, is obtained from Streptobacillus, Saccharomyces, Thiobacillus, Streptococci. The correct answer here is Streptococci. The spherical shaped bacteria Streptococci can be used for getting this enzyme streptokinase. Next question, biogas can be a good substitute for fuel wood, coal, charcoal, oil and petrol. Again, biogas can be a good substitute for fuel wood. It is a cleaner fuel than fuel and more efficient as well. But coal, charcoal, oil and petrol, they are more efficient fuel than biogas. So, we cannot substitute coal, charcoal, oil and petrol with biogas, but yes, we can substitute fuel wood. So, the correct answer here is A, fuel wood. So, with this, I would like to end this chapter. I hope that the chapter was quite clear to you and I helped you in understanding some of the topics of this chapter. Thank you.